Forgot about me real fast.
Dude coming out the building today, his face was all scarred and scary.
Quan wrote through. I'm turning up the heat to something real uncomfortable.
Music always been your dream.
I only dream when I'm asleep.
Playing with fire, Unique. I am fire.
So we've now seen Unique's first move, and it really was a big one. Andre Barnes, who was Rock's lawyer, is now gone. The reason why he was really important for Rock was because he was the man who had all the connections within law enforcement. He also said he had a mole within the bureau who also had a deal ready for Rock should she decide to turn on Stefano Marchetti. And you just never know with Rock. Maybe she would have taken the deal later on. You really never know what her next move is. Now we don't know if that deal would still be on the table. Maybe the source could approach Rock directly. But either way, it's a huge play from Unique and he's not finished. The next move is to take Richard and Sonny off the chessboard, attack her street level operation, the Chinese restaurants, and also go and visit Kanan at his apartment. Although it is clear that he doesn't actually come face to face with Kanan at this moment in time in probably episode 403. However, Unique is just one of many problems for Rock that seem to be piling up real quick at the beginning of season 4. Quan is also going to be an issue, law enforcement is another problem, and I'm sure there's going to be a few more. But we are going to be running through all the scenes from the trailer for episode 3, along with any other scenes that match up from the previous teasers and trailers. But let's take a look at the title and synopsis. Now the title for Raising Kanan Season 4 Episode 3, and the synopsis reads: as Rock and Marvin face the aftermath of Unique's violent comeback, Lou manages his new artist, Kanan gets through to his grandmother, and Jukebox embraces her sexuality.
I forgot about me real fast. Playing with fire, Unique. I am fire.
Now I think there's only one place to start. That's Unique's next move, which I think this one was probably a little predictable. Don't get it twisted, I do think there's going to be a lot more surprises this season which has us as the audience kind of guessing, and moves which we probably won't see coming. But this one was definitely one which I think was pretty obvious from the early teasers and trailers. Richard and Sonny used to work for Unique for a short period, but they quickly jumped on board with Rock. Now of course, they're actually none the wiser. They had nothing to do with the attack on Unique, or even with Rock's operation at the higher level. They just sell the product and use the Chinese restaurant as a front. However, this Unique could not care less. I think the move with Andre Barnes at the end of 402 tells us exactly what kind of mindset Unique has in season 4. It's the killer mindset, the killer instinct, shoot first, ask questions later. So I do think it is goodbye for Richard and Sonny in 403. Now for Rock, we do know in the season trailer there is a scene where she says Unique is in their operation. So at some point she will figure out Unique is alive, and he's the one who's been making moves from the shadows. But at this moment in time, we've got Marvin looking on probably as law enforcement cordon off the Chinese restaurant. And Rock is probably thinking, first Andre and now Richard and Sonny. She's going to be thinking, something just doesn't add up. We definitely first need to see her reaction to Andre's death, that's for sure. I can't wait to see her reaction. There's definitely going to be some finger pointing, maybe even in Quan's direction. Maybe he figures out she wants to take his place, maybe even in Traymon's direction. But every guess that she has, or whoever she can think of, couldn't be far from the truth. That's the beauty of Unique's position at this moment in time. It's very similar to the situation in Power when Kanan was attacking Ghost from within prison. Not once in season 1 did he even think to look in Kanan's direction. Even when Tariq was hanging around with a friend named Slim, not once did they think it was Kanan, apart from Tasha. She was the only person who ever questioned it. But Rock will definitely be pointing the finger in a lot of directions with very little to go on, a whole lot of assumptions, and definitely jumping or coming to the wrong conclusion. I do think maybe around the halfway point, that's when she'll probably realise Unique is alive, which is when there tends to be a major reveal or a shocking twist. But definitely looking forward to the fallout from Andre's death, and then the fallout from Richard and Sonny's death.
Fucked up looking dude coming out the building today, his face was all scarred and scary. I don't feel safe in this apartment, Kanan.
Now, taking Richard and Sonny off the chessboard won't be Unique's only move in episode 3. We also know he is going to be looking for Kanan. In the official trailer, we did see Unique bursting into Kanan's apartment, where it looks like he's going to be knocking OC to the ground. But on the way out, he's going to also bump into Crystal. Now we hear her telling Kanan, a fucked up looking guy came out the building. His face was all scarred, scary, and you could tell she really was spooked. Unique really does look scary. Even though it has been a few months, and his scar has somewhat healed, a lot more when we first saw him in 401, it still does look pretty bad. So you can understand why Crystal is so spooked. She'll even be telling Kanan she doesn't want to stay at his apartment, and I really don't blame her. Now it is pretty obvious Unique won't be meeting Kanan at this particular moment. At the time when we did see the season 4 trailer, I did think it was a red herring, but I do think they are setting us up for that face-to-face between them eventually. This was the guy who was running around with Ronnie when Unique was supposedly killed. This is Rock's son, who Unique believes conspired against him, and Unique knows. The one way to get to Rock is to get to Kanan. The one way to get to the Queen is through the Prince. So definitely one to keep an eye on for later on in season 4. When will they meet? Now I am also wondering what will Kanan do with this information from Crystal. We know Kanan really doesn't listen to Crystal too much, but when he realizes Rock's organization is being hit, when he learns his mom's operation is being hit in the streets, will Kanan go to Rock with this information? Someone with a scar came looking for him, and basically with the same description Crystal gave. We know their relationship still isn't in a good place in season 4, even though they are in business together. But with Unique hitting them on all fronts, I do think now's a time where they show a bit of unity and deal with the threat ahead, which is Unique. If we take a look at past events in the Power universe, taking the Teased as an example, they were always on different pages. Kane wanted to do his own thing and run an operation. Drew and Diana wanted to go in their own directions. Monet wanted control. Lorenzo also had different ideas when he was released from prison in terms of the positions he wanted each of the Teased to play. But you really did see how that tore the family apart, because they just couldn't seem to be able to work together. That's why I think it's really important for these guys to show a bit of unity. Now will that happen? Who knows? It really is probably unlikely, or even if they do, it's probably going to end up being short-lived. Maybe it's something that even later drags Lou back into the streets. I think we all know it's only a matter of time. He is going to be doing his thing with music with B-Rilla. But with this war with Unique, when Lou hears that the Thomases are in trouble, he really isn't just going to sit on the sidelines. So Lou's involvement, I am intrigued to see when, where and how. But moving on to Unique and early Tyler.
Playing with fire, Unique. I am fire.
Now, just as a Lannister always pays his debts, Unique mentioned in 401, every debt that he owes is going to be paid. Although debts aren't always about money. He is here to pay back Early Tyler what he owes him. Where we do also hear Early Tyler warn, he's playing with fire. But that's what I think exactly what Unique wants. He wants flames. He wants to pour petrol on the fire. He wants to burn everything down to the ground. And the few scenes that we haven't seen yet is him and his crew burning down the Chinese restaurant, coming in all guns blazing at one of their spots, and also what I believe is Rock's transportation operation. Whether we see all these moves in 403, I think we'll probably see maybe 1 or 2, and then another in 404, and maybe again in 405. He definitely won't be hitting Rock's warehouse in 403, because at this moment in time, he's got no crew. So it is still him building back up, piece by piece, brick by brick, and then I'm sure we're going to come to a point in season 4 where he's ready to try and take Rock's entire operation from beneath her. I mentioned this scene here in my 402 breakdown, when he was looking at the checkers board. Unique definitely isn't playing checkers anymore, he's playing chess.
Quan rolled through. I'm turning up the heat to something real uncomfortable. Here, problem.
Now Quan is also another huge problem. We know he raised Rock's prices by 20% in 402, and I think he's just going to continue to make Rock's life even more difficult, judging by the trailer from 403. We've got Rock telling Marvin that Quan rolled through and it's time they turn up the heat to something real uncomfortable. Now what she has in mind, we have no idea, but we do know she wants to take Quan's place. Although the problem she has at this moment in time, will she be able to climb the ladder, or as she kind of likes to say, change the game, when she's being hit by a ghost? Both of them know that Quan is a problem, but let's see what moves they make. It's going to be one thing dealing with their operation being hit, but then it's going to be something else trying to deal with Quan. Now in my opinion, I do think she will get to a position where she does eventually manage to take Quan's place, or at least get to a meeting with Stefano and another member of the crime families, and come very close to achieving what she wants to achieve. The question is, just how much will Unique hurt her operation? Andre, the Chinese restaurants, Richard and Sunny, and then the transportation side of things. We're not even considering the impact of Snaps, Pop, and potentially Kanan going behind her back. With that being said, she's also got the issue of Marvin taking out one of Stefano's highest earners. I'm sure that's also another conversation we need to hear in 403. What are the consequences here? When she inevitably does get to a position where she may be able to take Quan's place, where she's just ready to shake hands on a potential deal, is that when Unique says, checkmate?
So you gonna mess with this music thing again?
Nah,
Music always been your dream.
I only dream when I'm asleep.
Now with Jukebox, we've got Kanan telling Juke music was always her dream, but Juke's response is she only dreams when she sleeps. And this is a question I asked in my 402 breakdown. I asked a question, Is Duke's music dream completely gone? Or is there a chance it could be revived one more time before it comes crashing down again? But I do think we have our answer, and it does make sense. We've got her packing up her music here and probably getting rid of it for good. And why send her back to music in season 4? This is the real start of Jukebox's villain arc. We've already got a glimpse of it in a couple of teasers and trailers over the past month or two. We've now even seen her go to basic training, which will make her even tougher. And this is what Hailey Kilgore recently had to say on Jukebox's villain arc. She said season 4 marks the beginning of the end in a lot of different ways. Before she was a child and she was still protected, there were pillars in place to keep her safe, keep her grounded, and I don't think those pillars are there anymore. She also teased that she is going to be hitting absolutely rock bottom, where she's also left with nowhere to turn and with no options. So it is time we see the beginning of her villain arc. They've set her up beautifully for 3 seasons, and yeah, it's going to be interesting. What I also liked about this interview was the fact she mentioned the parallels are definitely going to start showing between the younger and the adult Jukebox. And that's something I went through in a lot of detail in my breakdown 4402. And it's definitely a topic I think we'll touch on in a bit more detail in the week. The traits that we're now seeing Jukebox with, her going through all her experiences, loss of loved ones, joining the army, the adult version of Jukebox makes a lot more sense. I made reference to how she was always strategic back in power, she was always planning, why there was always a need to have a plan and be disciplined. Well, now it makes sense, but it definitely is a topic we're going to touch on in a bit more detail in the coming week, because her music career is definitely over. She'll also be finding another love interest, and that's where I kind of wonder, is that what will kind of make Duke hit rock bottom? Let's see what turns her into that real villain. But that's a breakdown of the trailer for season 4 episode 3, Bygones. It's an episode where Unique is definitely going to be making yet another move. We're going to see Rock's reaction to not just Unique's moves, but also Marvin's. And let's keep our eyes and ears open for any clues in terms of what the situation is with Famous. I do think it's something we do need to see concluded in season 4, because there's no way they drag out Famous's disappearance into season 5. I do think it's something that has to be addressed, and I'm sure they will leave a few clues just to keep us kind of guessing and just to keep the mystery. But drop all your thoughts and predictions down below in the comment section, and as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.